and welcome to another video. Alright, in this video I'm going to show you a much more realistic view of GLPI. This instance has assets and in it, and has been set up to sync with Active Directory. So this will give you a much more realistic and a closer to a real life environment presentation of GLPI. So you'll get to actually see the benefits of having GLPI and be able to visualize and really understand and comprehend the power of GLPI. Well, it's not going to be a deep dive, but it's going to be an overall view of GLPI in itself, with what you can do with the assets and how you can actually interrogate the data and view the assets within GLPI, and see if some of the features that you can also modify to best suit your needs as well. So I've got a GLPI user and a password already filled in there, and this user will be logging on to the GLPI internal database. All right, you'll see that it's a drop down menu right there where it says GLPI internal database. You have an option to connect or sync with another external database, an authentication database obviously, and in this instance I've already set that up and I'm syncing with an Active Directory database. So what that does is that it pulls some users and groups from Active Directory, and it gives you the ability to have these users authenticate or log on as themselves using their AD passwords in order for them to to take advantage of the self-service feature of GLPI. So in essence, if a user needs assistance or they need to log a request, they just fill in their username and the password, and then just select their company name or the name of the domain that they are logging in, and it will let them in. They will log a ticket, they will see follow up, do whatever needs to be done as a user in there. So now we're going to continue with GLPI, and yeah, let's go. All right, I am inside GLPI and we are seeing the dashboard. Okay, all those numbers going up, the count of all the assets that are in your GLPI database. All right, depending on which user you log on with, the number may be different. Because I've logged on with a global account, then it means this is a representation of everything that's in the database. If I've got multi-tenants or multi-entities, as GLPI calls it, everything will be listed there. So if you're logging on with a user that particularly services one aspect or one tenant or one entity, then their overall number will look differently than mine, because theirs will only be within that particular entity or tenant. All right, so this dashboard in particular has a multiple it's in a way it's an overall dashboard, but what I mean by that, it shows different aspects. You'll see there's assets this side, and then you will see that there's the service side of the tickets this side. All right, a lot of things are assets obviously. Then you can, these users, 202 users are pulled from Active Directory, as I said. Groups are also pulled through, and then you can set up suppliers. You can documents, if there's documents in your system, they'll be listed there. You can see now these tiles, they represent what's in the database already. I've got 124 computers, 107 network devices, 22 racks or cabinets, 30 printers, so and 457 pieces of software. So you can see I've got at least a decent number of sample data that I'm working with in this video. And then on the side, you'll see the tickets. All right, yeah, so this dashboard, you'll see there's a drop down there. You can actually have this dashboard drill down to one part of the screen. For example, the assets part will focus just on the assets aspect. All right, you'll see now. Yeah, then I can just go on either, computers, network devices, racks, enclosures, all of those things are listed there. And then the other drop down will show you the assistance side of it, which is also self-explanatory. Assistance is more the service side, how you deliver your service to your clients, and this is a summary of that. Your number of tickets, category by tickets, like whether they're late, and then the problems, incoming tickets, assigned, solved tickets, pending, planned, etc., etc. So you are starting to get a much more a much more realistic and a detailed view of what GLPI is all about. Then on the dashboard you will get a tab where it says personal view. I've logged on as the GLPI user, and what will appear here is if I have any planned work or events, upcoming events, they will actually appear on this part of the screen. For example, if someone maybe assigns me a few calls, or they plan for an installation, it could be something that someone has actually planned for me or I planned for myself, will appear there. And then you have reminders. You can set up reminders and public reminders. If there's something for everyone, then will be listed there. And then you have a group view. Group view will be something that similar to personal view, but it will pertain to a group. And then you have a global view. Global view will show you a global aspect of the service. In essence, if there's any follow-ups, like your ticket follow-ups, you log tickets for there are different types of tickets for for requests, for problems. So here you get all your tickets that are waiting for your approval. It could be change, it could be anything. And then you have a drill down of problems, tickets that are categorized as problems, they will actually appear there. And then interestingly, you also have contracts. So if you have contracts that are expiring, it could be contracts with manufacturers or suppliers, it could be contracts, basically if you've got any contracts, this is your contracts meter. It will show you exactly what's expiring in what time, and notices. And then this side will see you will see events. This is more of a log, but you will see events that are actually taking place with the database itself. If anyone is connecting or accesses something at a particular part or enables something on the system. So this is more of your log of events that are taking place in your database. All right, and then you get your RSS feeds. You can set that up, and then you get forms. If you have forms that you want to make available, you can post them there. And then this aspect of the screen is the dashboard itself. This is where you can actually drill down on aspects that can be put on the dashboard, and then you can then specify this more of a reporting aspect of it, of the dashboard. And let's go into the inventory aspect. We click on manufacturer. All right, and then we list our computers. You'll see our computers are listed by manufacturer, and if you interrogate the data a bit, there you'll see it shows this in a tabular form, and you can obviously export that. So it's a quick way of seeing things. If you've used OCS, you'll notice that this is similar to what OCS can actually export. So if you don't want to do it in OCS, you can do it in here. All right, and yeah, I'm going to go through what you can do, or I'm going to go through with these on the I'm gonna go through with the menus and what's available. Obviously this one says assets, and that's where you'll see all of your assets. All right, if you want to go into computers, you click on computers. You want to see monitors, you want to see software, network devices, consumables, phones, racks. This is where you access all your assets, all right, in your organization or within the entity itself. Assistance, again, like we said earlier on, this is where you'll see your tickets. If you want to go into tickets, your planning, your create a ticket. Remember, this is what you saw with the dashboard is a representation of these two menus. And then licenses, or your licenses in a glance, that's where you load your licenses or you track them. Your budgets, you load your budgets, you track them. Your data centers, that's where you define them. Suppliers, orders, clients, documents, this is where you put it. Basically, this is the management aspect of your entity. Anything you need to you need in terms of licenses that pertain to your entity, this is where you actually put them. So this is not just your asset, but your entity or the company that you service. And then you get tools. Some of the tools here I actually installed via the marketplace of GLPI, where you can install plugins and tools. So for example, I've got TreeView, an OCS inventory plugin that allows you to connect to sync with OCS inventory. And yeah, so that's what happens. That's tools. Plugins, similar to tools as well, but specific plugins that you can use. And then you've got administration. That's where you'll see all the users. You can create your users here. You can set your entities or your tenants. So if you have another company that you are supporting, or another division, if you want to split your company into separate divisions where there's different budgets and everything, you can set up your entities in here. Groups, rules, profiles, Fusion inventory. If you are going to use a Fusion inventory to sync instead of OCS inventory, or you wanna use a combination, you'll find Fusion inventory also there. And then you've got setup. Setup is also very important because this is where you have your drop downs, your receivers. Receivers is if you want to set up mailboxes or accounts to receive emails, to also send emails as you communicate with your users. You set them up in receivers. And another important one is drop downs. Drop downs is where you define what appears in the menu, or basically data that you want to be static, that won't change enough. And that's where you actually come and set up. Let's say for example you want to add a model of a computer that is not picked up in OCS inventory, or for example you want to give it a pictorial view. For example, let's say we've got a server machine. You go to computer and let's show all of them. What are we going to pick? Just want to show you something. This is where you can define the properties of a computer or a model. This is going to be very helpful, as particularly in the server environment where you will want to document your servers and have a diagram view of your servers. So let's go into the Power Edge R2102. Okay, you will see here, this is where you fill up, you name your model that you put in there. You say Power Edge R2010, and then the product number. This you can find on the internet. You just put in the product number, the weight, description, everything. All of this stuff I found on the internet. All right, the weight, you put in the weight of it there. Required units. Required units, if it basically only takes 1 U on the cabinet, or it takes 2 U or 3 U's, that's where you specify the units. The depth, you put in the depth there. The power connections, if it's got 1 or 2 power connections at the back, and the power consumption you specify in watts. Is it a half rack? No. And then you can actually put in the front picture and the back picture. This is absolutely critical where you're gonna have multiple of devices sitting in a rack. What will happen is that as you slot those devices there in a rack, everything will get calculated for you, the ultimate or the total power consumption of all the devices that are in there, as well as the weight of all the devices that are in. Everything will be added up. So this is very important. Okay, and that's about it in a nutshell. But obviously there's a lot of things that you can define in here, and so there's a lot of flexibility with regards to how you want something set up and how you can actually set it up yourself. So that's GLPI in a nutshell. And then subsequent videos will just show you exactly one particular aspect of what's happening in there and what's happening in there, so on, so on, so on, so forth. Thank you very much. That's about it, and see you on the next one.